Hello there guys and welcome back to Blues Fans TV for my live review of Chelsea's 2-0 win in the FA Cup third round over Nottingham Forest. And yeah, I'm pleased. You know, it is a solid win overall. We're into the next round. No replay games like some others from North London. You know, in a white shower with the Mr. Jose Mourinho in charge, which is quite funny, against Middlesbrough, which I did enjoy when I saw that was their end result. Of course, guys, if you are new to Blues Fans TV, please be sure to subscribe. Make sure you drop a like on this live stream if you're watching this right now, and make sure you drop a like on this video if you're watching it later on. I massively appreciate that, and also be sure to click the notification bell button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Hey, hello, what was that kind of a just fuck up from what I'm trying to say. Was going to say hello to all of you guys that are tuning in the stream. I will, as always, if you're not used to my live streams, get to what you guys are putting into the chat after basically I'm done talking through the game from my perspective, basically. So anything you put in the chat now, I will not necessarily reply to and will not always see, but I will most certainly talk to you guys and interact with you guys in the chat after I'm done talking through the game. But let's just get through it. Now, obviously, starting off with the lineup, there was no real surprises in there. No real surprises compared to my preview yesterday, in all honesty. Sorry, my preview on Friday. It was like the only surprising thing was that it was a 4-3-3 rather than a 4-2-3-1. That was what surprised me the most, if anything. But it was Willy Caballero in goal, a back four of, well, the two centre-backs, first of Andreas Christensen and Fikayo Tomori. I did think Mark Way could possibly start, but it wasn't to be, and it was okay with Tomori, of course. Reece James out at right back, Emerson at left back, a midfield three of Jorginho at the base, Kovacic to his left, and Ross Barkley to his right. Was expected for Ross Barkley to start and Kante to get a rest. Hudson-Odoi initially started on the right-hand side for the first half, played the second half on the left. Pedro played the first half on the left-hand side, played the second half on the right until he was subbed off. And Michy Batshuayi started up front. And in all honesty, I wasn't that impressed with the game. Like, I'm already ready for the hate and the comments and the live chat. Like, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of big people on Twitter, big like Chelsea football Twitter accounts, they were like really happy with this and praising everyone, and I'm like, except Hudson-Odoi and Reece James, I don't think there's anyone to praise today. I think everyone else was pretty bloody poor. I mean, I said awful at half time, and to be honest, I think most of the players were pretty awful. Not awful, but pretty awful, which is a bit less than awful. Do you know what I mean? But there's not that much to praise today, especially when you think about the fact, think about the team that Forest put out. You'd think Forest, the championship team, going, they might try to cause an upset in the FA Cup. No, they kind of fielded their C team. It wasn't even their B team. There was pretty much none of their, usual first team starters in their team. The top scorer wasn't in there. The usual top performer wasn't in there. And their goalkeeper at the start of the season, according to my commentator anyway, was their fifth choice. Do you know what I mean? And then when you put that into perspective, that if it wasn't for a quarter of an inch, of an offside call by VAR, Tomori gives away a penalty and they probably make it 1-0. Or in the second half, if it isn't for a quarter of an inch of an offside call by VAR, they get one back and then it might be a nervy ending to the game. I don't think we can be like all too happy with this performance in the slightest. But we did start well. We did start pretty well because we already made it 1-0 in the 6th minute through Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I thought he really, really needed that. He needed the performance that he put on display today. Second half, it was a little, not as fruitful, not as good. But that was the whole team getting a little bit more tired, also saving some energy, I thought. Because, we had 4 Premier League games in 11 days before that. So, you have to take that into account as well. But first half, Hudson-Odoi especially, but also with Reece James, with James with him on that side. Them two were just brilliant. Them two were just brilliant. And Hudson-Odoi, just scored a really, really good first goal. And it was a lovely team move as well that started on the left-hand side. I think between Kovacic and Pedro. Might have been Emerson involved in it as well. That ended with the ball... at Hudson-Odoi's feet at the edge of the, right-hand side of, Forest's box. He cuts onto his left-hand side, left foot, and he just puts it in at the bottom corner. Let's be honest, a good goalkeeper saves that. The shot wasn't particularly close to the post. The shot didn't have a particularly lot of power on it. So a very good goalkeeper saves that. But that doesn't matter in this case because, Hudson-Odoi is only meant to score against who he's playing against right now. So... he did enough to be that goalkeeper that was in goal. So fair enough. Maybe if De Gea is in goal, or maybe if Alisson is in goal, he just hits it hard and places it better. Who am I to say that he wouldn't do that? So it was a very good goal. He seemed very happy. Everyone was very happy. And it was good. I was pleased. Rest of the first half was a bit dead, except Reece James and Hudson-Odoi in some moments. But Reece James' crossing was unbelievable today. I mean, it always is. And the thing is, with Reece James, when he plays so well against Nottingham Forest, I'm not surprised. Like, Reece James is an unbelievable player. And, you could have almost argued that Tariq Lamptey should have started there today because, Reece James should be playing all the big games because of how good he is. And you know, you could have argued that, but it was fine. You know, Reece James was one of the standout players alongside Hudson-Odoi, and his crossing is just unbelievable. And Michy Batshuayi, well, in the first half alone, he could have had a hat trick from pretty much just from Reece James crosses. He could have had another 1 or 2 goals in the second half from Reece James crosses, or from other crosses, anyways. But like, a lot of good moments for Michy Batshuayi, but we didn't do any with them. In the 33rd minute, though, Ross Barkley did make it 2-0, sorry. And I will talk about Ross Barkley later in this video. I will talk about him. And that was the only good thing that he did all game. There was a moment of 30 seconds where Ross Barkley turned into a good player. He played a lovely crossfield ball over to Hudson-Odoi. Lovely crossfield ball over to Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side. Hudson-Odoi, you know, cut pretty much like his first goal. Tries to cut on his left and goes for the shot. This time not to the near post, but to the far post. The keeper doesn't manage to make the save, but only manages to parry it out. And Ross Barkley, from where he played that crossfield ball to Hudson-Odoi, you know, just went on a run, you know, with good strides, got himself into the box and got right onto the loose ball that the goalkeeper saved and just tapped it in from really close range. Wasn't offside. Perfect. You know, really well done to him for that goal. Other than that, it was fucking awful. Honestly, and I mean this as seriously as I can possibly say this, I think Ross Barkley is the worst signing of Chelsea Football Club in the last decade. And I know that we've signed Danny Drinkwater, and I know that we've signed Timur Bakayoko, and I know that Drinkwater cost 20 million more than Ross Barkley did. And, you know, Bakayoko roughly that as well. I don't care. Barkley hasn't had a good game in, what, 15 months? Since October 2018, I don't think he's had a single good game. He's had a couple of good moments in games, but he's never had a good game. It's awful. Like, he's so bad. He's so bad. It hurts me to watch him play. It really hurts my eyes to watch him play. And then some people say, but he hasn't played for months. I'm like, yeah, he hasn't. There's good reason for that. He goes drinking, you know, he has fights with taxi drivers over bloody chips, eating the chips in his cab, goes to Dubai and, you know, kicks off there when, you know, he's injured and can't play because of that. And then also not being able to control a simple pass. I'm not giving you the excuse that you're not playing for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm giving you that excuse for difficult things because, you know, when you're more in a rhythm, you get that excuse. Not for controlling a ball, not for playing a 5-yard pass or playing the pass a second earlier than, you know, he did do in the end. I'm not going to give him that excuse for that, you know, honestly. I'm just not. And Barkley was fucking awful. And into the second half, well, we controlled everything. And we should have scored more goals. Of course, I mentioned the penalty that Tomori did give away. It was a foul. As much as he did get the ball first, they clashed knees, so it is a penalty, but very, very narrowly and correctly decided by VAR. The Forest attacker was offside. That was still in the first half at 1-0 as well. So we got away with one there. You know, some people hate VAR, some people like VAR. To me, it's like, it's a factual matter. Are you offside or are you not? I don't care if it's your armpit hair, or I don't care if it's like that much. If you're offside, you're offside. I don't know why people are crying about it that much. The only thing is that it takes as long as it does. But at the end of the day, it has to take a bit longer. You know, if you want to be precise. And also what's a bit annoying is that when they zoom in so much to actually see it, the image is very pixeled, so then you're not sure, is it actually his foot or is that just a pixel kind of thing? So that's a bit of a problem. But he was offside. We got away with it. It wasn't a penalty. Second half, later on, David Yates, or whatever his name is, Ryan Yates, sorry, scored from a free kick. That was never a free kick, by the way. Reece James even got booked for it. Never a booking. Like, no chance that he's ever a booking. Roughly when was that? When did that happen? Around the 65th minute or so. That's when Reece James got booked. And, of course, from that free kick, they scored. But, again, he was very, very, very narrowly offside. And we got away with it. Gianni Italiano, good question. Is anyone called Gianni Italiano? Or are you actually... Oh, there it is. Let's start the GoFundMe page to send Ross Barkley. Bloody hell. Yes, let's start to GoFundMe and buy him an Uber back to Everton. I'm a big fan. But yeah, eventually we did make a couple of subs as well. Tariq Lamptey came on for Pedro in the 76th minute, and before that Mason Mount came on for Mateo Kovacic in the 69th minute. Yeah, I mean, the second half, not much happened. We could have scored a couple of goals. Ross Barkley had a header very well saved by your opponent's goalkeeper, but he was offside in the end, so it didn't matter. And Michy Batshuayi could have had maybe another 2. But other than that, we didn't really do much. You know, like I said, we conserved a little bit of energy. Hudson-Odoi moved over to the left, where I didn't think it was as good as he was on the right. And that was it, really. The one thing I do want to touch on as well is, why on earth did Olivier Giroud not come on today? Like, we only made 2 substitutions. I mean, I know that Billy Gilmour was ill. you could have brought Mark Guay on a 2-0. You know, you could have just brought a couple of youngsters on. You know, that's what we tried to use the FA Cup for. It's a bit mad that Forest used way more youngsters than Chelsea did in an FA Cup third round tie. You know what I mean? I know the Championship has more games and stuff, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit strange. But I don't understand why Lampard didn't bring Olivier Giroud today. Especially because it would have very likely been his last run out and a goodbye to the Chelsea fans. Because there is a good chance that Olivier Giroud leaves this window. Because Michy Batshuayi is happy to not play that regularly and is happy to be on the bench and come on when he, you know, is asked upon, I guess. But Olivier Giroud, because of his age and because of trying to be in the Euro squad for France in the summer and trying to start for France as well, because he is their regular starter usually, he needs game time and he wants to play before he, you know, possibly retires in a couple of years' time. So I understand that, and that's why he you know, quite likely wants out and wants to, you know, go away if we manage to find a replacement and let him go. So I don't understand why Lampard wouldn't bring him on. Like, I just feel it's a bit harsh, you know. Poor Ollie. Like, you guys would probably, most of you will probably know that I'm not a big fan of Olivier Giroud in the slightest, but that's just a bit harsh. Like, he still scored a goal in the Europa League final, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and he said, thank you also, just to take the absolute piss. I absolutely love it. As much as I don't like him when he plays. But I thought that was a bit harsh. Other than that, who can I really talk about? Willy Caballero was never tested. He had like one proper shot on target that he could actually do something with, because, you know, the goal that we conceded, that was called offside and he couldn't have done much about it. Reece James was brilliant, said that already. His crossing is unbelievable. His physique is absolutely brilliant. There was this one moment when he was just holding off the ball, not really seeming sure whether he wants to pass it back to Caballero or to Christensen or to, what am I trying to say? Or maybe forward or whatever. And then he just absolutely skins two Forest players with one Cruyff turn and just leaves them for dead and plays a beautiful crossfield ball over to Emerson right onto his foot. Unbelievable. Reece James is just an unbelievable footballer. And to be honest, he's kind of slightly wasted at right back. But he kind of isn't because of how good his crossing is as well. Emerson, not really much to say. I'm not going to say he was bad, but he was good. I mean, he didn't do particularly anything wrong in the defensive phase, but he could have done a lot more things right in the offensive phase. Fikayo Tomori gave away the penalty. As much as it was offside, he still gave away a penalty, so I can't be running around saying Fikayo Tomori had a great game. Not sure how anyone comes up with that. Sorry. If you give away a penalty against Nottingham Forest, then you didn't have a good game, even if you got saved by VAR. Christensen, I don't have any complaints about. Not going to say it was great, because it was Nottingham Forest C team. Like, how can I say a centre-back was great when, you know, he got beaten a couple of times by a 19-year-old Forest player? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you have to look at it in some sort of context. Jorginho, I thought, was poor. Not horrendous, but I thought he was poor. He had too many misplaced passes, too many poor tackles in there as well. Had some good moments. Still is important to keep control of the game for us, because without him we're just screwed. But he didn't have the best of games today. Neither did Mateo Kovacic. Ross Barkley, I spoke about plenty. Can't control the ball. Doesn't know where to go. Doesn't know when to pass. And that is just that, I guess. What else is there to say? Hudson-Odoi was brilliant. Scored. Kind of got the assist with trying to shoot. The goalkeeper saves it and it rebounds to Barkley and he taps it in. Had a lovely counter-attack at the time, still at 1-0, that he started when he played Pedro through. Actually, Hudson-Odoi waited too long to play him through because Pedro was offside, even though the liner didn't see that. But had we scored, I will explain in a second why we didn't score, but had we scored, the goal wouldn't have stood. But he played in Pedro a tiny bit too late. Anyway, played it to Pedro. We then cut it onto his left foot, tried to shoot, and Michy Batshuayi was in his way, again offside. And, you know, kind of just shot at the heel of Batshuayi, hence why we didn't make it 2-0 at that point. But that, like, Hudson-Odoi was just really, really good, especially in the first half, on the right-hand side, linking up with Reece James. I also think that what does Hudson-Odoi well is when he's on the right, he needs to use his left foot more, and that is one of his biggest weaknesses, in my opinion, his left foot, and on the right-hand side. Because on the left, he just needs to use it. On the right, he doesn't, because he doesn't really like to cross as, like, much on his left foot. Either cuts it onto his right and then crosses, or just cuts inside and goes for goal or lays it off. So I like that. I was happy with him on the right. Very, very happy with him. Pedro is Pedro. You barely saw him. He was kind of involved in the build-up to the 1-0, and he had that moment when he hit the ball at Batshuayi's heel. Other than that, I barely noticed Pedro. I mean, he's probably on his way out. You know, did he look not like Fabregas, you know, like crying when Chelsea fans gave him an ovation at the end of the day, you know, when he was subbed off? And most of them gave him a standing ovation as well, to be fair. He did look a bit sad. Was it a sad look of like, you know, this is my goodbye now? Or was it a sad look, I've not played for like what feels like 5 months, even though he came on in the game recently, didn't he? But not played ever really this season, and then I don't even get to play the 90 minutes in a FA Cup game against Nottingham Forest. It could have been both. And then Batshuayi is just the opposite of Willian. Batshuayi is just the opposite of Willian. He's good off the bench. Batshuayi is a good striker to bring off the bench, in my opinion. We saw it at Ajax, scored like one of the biggest winners we had all season. But when he starts games, he's just awful. I know he scored against Man United, even though he started in that game that we lost in the end through that Rashford scream of a free kick. But generally, he was also awful in that game. He can't control the ball. The penalty that Tomori gave away until VAR saved us was issued by Batshuayi's awful, touch with his chest, literally outside their box. It was so bad that it just bounced literally 10 yards, away from the opponent's goal. They hit us on a break, and then the whole penalty VAR situation happened. Can't pass, takes too long to pass when he does pass. He had one good, pass when he controlled the ball, held it up, played it out wide to Hudson-Odoi. One good moment he had like that. For the most part, he was just poor. Tariq Lamptey did pretty well when he came on. Not much to say. He did pretty well. Didn't have as much of an impact. Didn't have as much time as he did at Arsenal, of course, a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, whenever it was. And Mason Mount, don't really know what to say about him when he came on for coverage. Just didn't really notice, man, because for the last 20 minutes we didn't really do much. Couple of half moments. Tariq Lamptey almost once with an assist or a goal, but he's kind of half effort, half cross, got kind of intercepted or blocked in the end. So I don't know. I don't know. Who did you say is pretty decent for a 17-year-old? Mighton. Yeah, Mighton was pretty good, to be fair to him. He was the gun that got fouled as well by Tomori. He skinned Christensen a couple of times. He's a good player. Fair play to him. I can't really talk about that. I would like to see Barbosa, Ziyech, Sancho, Werner, Ake, also Isco. We need a goalkeeper to back up Kepa. I mean, I don't really know what the biggest deal with Caballero is, but I mean, you're very demanding with all of these players. I mean, do you know what I mean? Jorginho is not only for passes. He connects to defense and midfield. Very, very true. I didn't think he wants to play Europa Cup Legendary. Don't know what that means. Yeah, okay. Who's leaving? Like I said, Aubameyang or Pepe. All of them. Only things Arsenal are good at is Wenger Cup. Why are you lot all talking about Arsenal? But yeah, I think we didn't play well. I agree, Luca Toniolo. I agree. We didn't play well today. It was decent. It wasn't that. I'm not going to say we were awful because two players were just very, very good. But the overall thing, it was just a pretty boring game that not much happened in. We beat, Nottingham Forest second, if not third string side, only 2-0 with our, we rotated a lot less than Forest did today, right? So, we had some of our regular starters in there. We had Jorginho in there. We had Kovacic in there. We had Hudson-Odoi in there, who we want to be a regular starter once he finds his form again. We had Batshuayi in there, who started a couple of games and scored the winner at Ajax. We had Reece James in there, who starts many games. Emerson in there, who starts many games. Christensen, Tomori. We only beat Forest 2-0. So I don't think we can be over the moon with it. Oh yes, thank you for pointing that out, Kartik. Why didn't Pulisic play? I don't know why he wasn't in the squad today. I'm a bit baffled by that. Of course, there was this hamstring problem that he had for the Arsenal game, which kept him out of that squad. When after the Southampton game in the warm down, he felt a bit of a cramp in his hamstring, and Lampard just wanted to be safe and didn't want him to get injured because we have a lot of games and he wants him to be absolutely fine. Then he played against Brighton, of course, came off after an hour, 70 minutes or so as well. And then he's in the squad again today. I'm not sure whether the hamstring was kind of bothering him again a little bit. Maybe he's also ill, like so many players, including Frank Lampard, have been this week. Or whether he was just left out and it was decided that he would get the full rest and Willian would be on the bench. I don't know for sure, but at the end of the day, we won, so it was fine. Yes, but the VAR decisions were correct. Yes, the VAR decisions were absolutely correct. We got to have a VAR. Yeah. No, absolutely. The VAR decisions were correct. In these situations, you just have to like VAR. Okay, the goal was given offside anyway, but the penalty, they would have had a penalty without VAR, even though the guy was offside, and that's why I'm a fan of VAR. They just need to make the decisions, happen quicker. If it was Giroud, it would be at least 3-0. Well, I strongly disagree with that, but I guess it is what it is. Yeah, guys, how long have I been going for? 20 minutes already. Let me just answer a couple of more things from the chat, and then I'm going to leave it there. Georgie, Kante, cover doesn't work. It does, depending on the game. Not in a game where we're the clear favourite and we're going to dominate possession in the game. Then that's not the best thing to go with, in my opinion. Who is Barbosa? Gabriel Barbosa, or Gabigol, is a striker / right mid that currently plays for Flamengo in the Brazilian league. Is owned by Inter Milan. They signed him a few years ago. Then they loaned him to Benfica. Then they loaned him to Santos. Now they loaned him to Flamengo, where he absolutely exploded, especially this season, but also last year in the Brazilian league, scoring almost as many goals as he played games in the league. In the Copa de Libertadores, which is basically the South American Champions League, scored and really did very, very well as well. We're linked with him. He is kind of a slightly cheaper Zaha in a sense, and left-footed, which is a big deal. I would really like a left-footed player. But yeah, let's see whether that happens. We need Alex Telles. I mean, I wouldn't mind Alex Telles, but I don't think that's happening in January. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to leave it here. We're not buying Draxler, Sodon. We have Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We're not buying any of that German crap. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate all of you guys that did tune in, which of course was a lot less today than usual because it was the FA Cup. We beat Forest 2-0. It's really not that big a deal, is it, sadly? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate all of you guys that did tune in. Like I said in the beginning, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the notification bell button just to don't miss any of our future content. Make sure you drop click the like button especially if you made it this far. But just generally, make sure you hit the like button. I would massively appreciate that. If you're watching this as a video later on, make sure you leave me all of your thoughts on the game down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm being an absolute twat for basically saying the game was as bad as I kind of made it out to be? But yeah, leave me all of your thoughts. There's also a couple of polls that I put alongside the I button up there. Click those. Your favorite player, your man of the match today, who was your worst player, that kind of thing. So choose kind of your preference, I guess, from those polls. I would appreciate that as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.